Every month, sometimes every week, guys message me or leave a comment asking the exact same question. I'm 50 years old. Where do I find a Filipina who isn't 22? The answer isn't a secret dating app, and it definitely isn't walking around SM Mall on a Tuesday afternoon. The women you're looking for are here, but they operate in a completely different world than the tourist crowd. Let's break down where they actually hang out, how to meet them naturally, and the subtle cultural shift that changes everything depending on where you live. Hi guys, it's Dee and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to tell you exactly where they actually are, why you don't see them in the places you expect, and how the whole thing changes depending on whether you're looking in the city or in the province and what kind of lifestyle you're aiming for. And before we start, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell, okay? Let's start. Well, first the numbers because they do matter. The thing is, the median age in the Philippines right now sits right around 26 to 27 years old, and that is fairly young, right? Walk through SM Mall of Asia on a Monday or Tuesday afternoon and it hits you in the face. 20-somethings everywhere. Young, pretty, energetic, and a lot of them still living that wild and free phase. They're the ones you see strolling, taking selfies, and mostly hanging out in groups. And that's the visible Philippines, in my opinion, the ones that show up in every tourist video. And you guys were kind of tired of me talking about the younger Filipinos, so here we go. But the women you're looking for, maybe a tad older and more mature, they're not part of that visible crowd most of the time. And there's a simple reason for it. A lot of them are busy because, yep, you guessed it right, they're working. They're the ones behind the counters, in the offices, teaching the classes, running the small businesses, or still supporting family back in the province. They don't have 3 free hours in the middle of the day to wander around a mall looking cute. That lifestyle belongs more to the younger crowd who either still live with parents or don't have the same responsibilities yet. So if your strategy is I'll just hang around the food court and wait, you're mostly going to meet the age group you already decided you're not after. Or maybe you can meet the age group you are after. It really just depends. So where do you actually find them? Let's start with the obvious ones that still work, then get into the less obvious, okay? First is workplaces and the places around work. A huge number of middle-aged Filipinos are still in the workforce, and you're looking at women in their late 30s or late 40s who are sales supervisors in the malls, sales ladies, bank employees, office staff in BPO or government, nurses, teachers, pharmacy staff, or running their own small business. You see them at work, but the better places are the spots right next to work too. The coffee shops near office buildings during lunch hour, the little carinderias and cafes that fill up around 12 to 1, the bakers or bakeries and panaderias that get the morning rush of people grabbing bread before they head to the office. These women are not on vacation, okay? They're living normal adult lives, and that means if you want to meet them naturally, you have to be in those normal adult spaces at normal adult times. Number 2 is church, and nope, I am not joking, okay? Especially if you're outside the super touristy areas. Sunday Mass, the after-service socializing, or what we call fellowship, the parish activities, the choir practices, the prayer groups. A lot of solid, family-oriented women in that age range still take church seriously, and it's one of those few places where people of different ages mix without it feeling forced. And you don't have to become the most religious guy in the room, okay? Just show up consistently, be respectful, and actually talk to people because, in my opinion, Filipinos notice when someone keeps coming back. That's why we have a term for it if you're a regular in a store. We call them suki. Number 3 is social gatherings and community events. For example, birthdays, baptisms, fiestas, reunions, barangay events, and even those company Christmas parties that somehow spill into the next year. More mature women show up to these because they're the ones organizing the food, helping with the kids, or just finally getting a night out with their friends or barkada. And if you have local friends, which I suggest you should, get invited, okay? That's where the real social circles live. Number four is payday weekends, and this one is, I think, underrated because on the 15th and the 30th, or the nearest weekend, a lot of working women finally have a little breathing room. You'll see more of them in the malls, in the parks, or just out for a simple dinner. And they're not there every day, but when the salary hits, the energy changes, and that is your window, my guy, trust me. Number five is social media, specifically Facebook. And I'm going to be blunt because Facebook is still king here for people over 35. And no, I am not sponsored. I mean, I wish I am. Instagram and TikTok skew younger. The younger crowd are more on TikTok and Instagram. And a lot of the women in the age group you're looking for are active on Facebook, posting about their kids, nephews, nieces' graduations, birthdays, their small businesses, church activities, or just sharing long emotional captions, you know? And groups, local community pages, even some of the more serious dating groups if you filter carefully. Just don't be the guy who opens with, "Hi, beautiful," and a shirtless selfie. Like, come on, dude. That's how you get ignored or blocked by the exact women you want, or get scammed. Now, the important filter is the social class and location because they change everything. If you're looking for someone more middle class or upper middle, the places shift and everything shifts. These women are more likely to be at the gym in the early morning or after work, and they're not usually the super cheap ones. They could afford the mid-range fitness centers like Anytime Fitness gyms or the nicer ones inside the malls. They're at the Starbucks or the better local cafes on weekends. They go to the nicer parks or the ones with walking tracks, and they take short trips to Tagaytay or the beach with friends, or Boracay even. And if you're aiming more working class, for example, or lower middle, the lifestyle, of course, is different as well. Less gym time, of course, or the basic, very basic outdoor gyms and free weights under the trees, or the free public park. More time at the local market, the simpler carinderia or eatery, the sari-sari stores you might even own or help run, the pharmacy or the grocery. And in the provinces, it can be the fields, the fish market, the public school she teaches at, or the little store that sells everything from shampoo to phone load. And city versus province is another big one. Say for example, in Metro Manila, Cebu, Davao, the women in this age range are more likely to be in offices, in malls, hospitals, or schools. And in the provinces, you'll find more of them in the local government offices, the rural banks, the cooperatives, the sari-sari stores, the wet markets, or still helping with farming or fishing or helping out in the house. And I believe that neither is better. They're just different lives. And you have to decide what kind of daily reality you actually want to share. Now, one more real talk point as we almost end this video. A lot of these women already have history, okay? Some have kids, some are separated or widowed, some are still supporting parents or siblings, and in my opinion, that doesn't make them less valuable. It usually means they're more practical and clearer about what they want. And if you're looking for someone who already understands responsibility and isn't still in party mode, that's often a feature. And I'm not saying that a lot of the younger crowd, 20s and up, are, just partying and immature. I mean, it really just depends on the upbringing, in my opinion. For most of you, this isn't your first rodeo either, and the age gap, of course, still exists, even if it's smaller. I believe that respect goes a long way, and I've had a lot of comments from guys expecting a 35 plus childless virgin or something close to it. You need a solid reality check. Finding a woman without kids at that age is already rare. Insisting on a virgin when you're 50 plus? That's just hilarious in its audacity. If that's you, I need you to think on it for a minute because, most of you watch because I tell it like it is, and I think this needed to be said. So, to put it simply, stop expecting the 35 plus girls to be the ones casually strolling the mall every afternoon. Most of them are already working. Meet them where they actually live their lives. Around work, at church, at real social gatherings, on payday weekends, and online where the older crowd still hangs out. Adjust for social class and whether you're in the city or the province. And remember that the Philippines is still a young country demographically. That median age is mid-20s, and that young energy is everywhere. The women who match your stage of life are there too, I believe. They're just not performing for the tourists. Be patient. Be consistent. Be a normal adult human instead of a walking red flag. No one wants a red flag, regardless of age. That is still the most effective strategy here. And if you've already found your person or you've got your own spots that work, drop them in the comments. Let's help out these guys, because I'm always curious what other guys are seeing on the ground. And if you're still figuring out the whole retiring or living long-term in the Philippines thing, please stick around. We've got more of these real talk videos coming. Alright, that's it for today. Take care of yourselves out there. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Dee, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye! Energetic, and a lot of, for example, birthdays, baptisms, fiestas. Okay, they could afford the mid-range. And of course, that is still